everybody, welcome to Korg's Patch of the Week. I'm Francis Prev, and this week we're going to be using the Korg opsix to recreate the vintage sound of the Korg PolySix. This is a fairly straightforward process since the PolySix consisted of a single analog oscillator with a secondary square wave sub-oscillator that could be tuned either 1 or 2 octaves below it. The Korg opsix includes an absolutely gorgeous recreation of the PolySix filter in its collection of filter types, so that makes the process even easier. It also includes an ensemble effect that's reminiscent of the PolySix as well. So let's get started. Starting with an initialized preset, I'm going to leave the algorithm at algorithm 1, since in this case, operators 1 and 3 are set to being carriers. As carriers, we can use them to recreate the oscillator and the sub-oscillator in the PolySix. So step 1 is to increase the volume of operator 1, so that's our oscillator, and then switch to the mode function and dial in a sawtooth. So now we have a sawtooth as the basis for our sound. For operator 3, which is our sub-oscillator, we're going to toggle over to that and set it to a square wave. Since the sub-oscillator was generally an octave below that, I'm going to use the tuning knob to set the coarse ratio to 1/2, which is half of the first harmonic, thus an octave lower. So by controlling the volume of 3, we add the square, and by controlling the volume of 1, we get our sawtooth. At that point, the PolySix was often used for pads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the envelope for oscillator 1. I'm going to increase the sustain to maximum, give it a softer attack and a longer release, and then repeat that process for the sub-oscillator. Full sustain, softer attack, longer release. And then when we fade that in, they match up. The next step is to add the effects before we start tinkering with the filter. The reason for this is because the ensemble effect in the PolySix is its trademark sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial in unison ensemble, hit yes, and increase the mix so it's over 50%. At that point, I'm going to switch over to the filter, and I'm going to change its type to LPF PolySix. The PolySix is a little bit warmer, softer, more muted, and has a real analog vibe that I personally find really, really, really well suited to pads. If you want to add a touch of reverb for further processing, you can go over to the effects and then dial in reverb.